Hey, I'm Matt. Today I want to talk to you about the Festool RO150. I know it's expensive, but why would someone pay this much money for a sander if you could just pick up something like this DeWALT locally at a box store? Let's talk about it. In this video, I'll go over the Festool RO150 features. I'll show you everything about it, and then we'll put it through the test and compare it to something like this DeWALT, and then also the 125 from Festool. These are just the sanders I have on hand. There are other 6-inch sanders out there that you may be interested in, Mirka, Makita, but I don't have those. I have this one. I did a video a while back on this Festool 125 as well as the dust extractor, and I also compared it to this DeWALT in that video. If you want to go check that out, I'll put it in the description below. I get a lot of comments about there's no way I would pay the Festool money to get a tool like that. And while that may be justified, there are some benefits for getting Festool that I didn't realize until I got them. It's kind of like Lay's potato chips. You can never eat just one. Kind of used to be their slogan, and that's the way Festool is, as you can see. For the weekend warrior, maybe you do a couple of projects a month, this will serve you perfectly fine. If you do several projects a week, this and this will save you more time than you can count, and time is money when you're building projects for sale. That's where the RO150 is going to shine, because whew, let's save you some time. Speaking of saving time, you got to check out our easy to follow build plans, and when using those plans, it has the cut list and every step you need to make an awesome project. That's going to save you tons of time. We got them on our store, 731woodworks.com/store. Also check out some of our fantastic Outlaws board butter. This stuff is so good it should be outlawed. And if you buy 3 or more cans, shipping will be free. Go get you some. And as a special thank you for watching this video, if you use the code ROTEX, you'll get 20% off any order. That's pretty good. Let's go. So there are a few features that make this a superior sander to even its little brother, the 125. The 125 is a great finish sander. It really is. I love it. This is for heavy duty work. It will do finish sanding, but for the most part, this thing is made to remove material. The Festool power button is on and off. It slides forward and back. And then this button right there is for coarse or fine sanding. When it's in coarse mode, check this out. You hear that? It is gear driven. When you put it in fine mode, it'll free spin, similar to what the 125 is. This is an add-on accessory. It is a front handle for it, just to be able to hold it. Also, this gets really hot whenever you're sanding with it, especially if you're taking off a bunch of material. Another reason to have that handle is for control, because when this thing is in gear drive mode or coarse mode, it will pull you and push you if you're just holding it back here or if you're just trying to hold it. This just gives you some more leverage. Festool is known for its dust extraction, and this thing is no exception. There's tons of holes to be able to pull air in, to pull all this dust all the way back through this hose. Now, under normal circumstances, like on regular sanders or when this is in fine mode, when you turn it on, you can actually hold this. If I put that in gear drive and tried to hold that, it would burn my hand. This would just continue to spin. You can't hold it. I almost got burned there. So just, that puts it in overdrive. All of these holes aren't all for dust extraction. Some are for dust extraction, but some are for airflow so that this pad, your sanding disc, doesn't get too hot. That helps prevent things from melting. If you've ever sanded paint and you see where it starts melting because it got too hot or trying to sand off a finish, this will prevent that from happening as much. But you want to be sure and line the holes up when you put your pad on. This is a very rough cut piece of white oak, and it hasn't been planed or anything. I'm going to use this 80 grit and show you how fast we can smooth this up just using the Rotex in gear drive coarse mode. That is really smooth, actually. It's with 80 grit, I can continue on and get that even smoother. I'm going to put some 80 grit on the DeWALT and sand this much and show you the difference. That's pretty cool right there. This is also 80 grit Festool paper. You see how much less holes there are. I'm not going to hook dust extraction up to this one just to show you. Of course, the holes aren't going to match up on this anyway. I also want to note how clean this paper is. That dust extraction actually helps your paper last longer because it's pulling that dust off of there and keeping it from being built up. I don't know if you can see all that dust that was flying out. The paper's still clean. I didn't sand enough to dirty it up. But you can still feel an obvious difference. Like when I rub my finger across there, I know where the Rotex stops and the DeWALT starts. It's much smoother on this side. Maybe hard to pick up on camera. For most people, when they sand, a lot of us do the old line trick to see where we've sanded, where we haven't. I'm gonna do that with all 3 sanders and show you the speed difference that the Rotex is actually gonna make. It's 28 seconds now, and I started it at about 1 second in. So we're looking at 23 seconds. We'll do the same test with the 125. I stopped sanding at 47 seconds. I started at 1 second, so we're looking at about 45 seconds. Now we'll do the 80 grit with the DeWALT. The DeWALT and the ETS 125, the smaller the Festool sanders, are fairly equal as far as sanding time goes. The difference is going to be dust extraction and the vibration that you feel in your hands. I've reviewed those on that other video. You can go check that out. For time savings and the material removal plus the dust extraction that the Rotex offers is why I wanted one in the shop. The DeWALT will get the job done, no doubt, but it's going to take a lot longer and the dust extraction is not going to be as good. I want to go ahead and sand this again with the fine mode turned on. It should be still quicker because we have more surface area we're sanding at one time. But fine mode on. Ready? Go. Now look, I stopped sanding at 43 seconds, and I started at 2 seconds. So about 41 seconds overall on fine mode. The absolute ability to remove material extremely fast. I just wanted to demonstrate that on the edge of this board. You can see where the Rotex was just eating it away. Within just a few seconds, I took off quite a bit off of that piece of hard maple. And that's no easy task. Very impressive. This is my new favorite sander for removing a lot of material fast. But not only that, there are tons and tons and tons of add-ons you can do to this thing to make it even better and to give it more value. There's hard pads and soft pads that will replace this really easily. Got some on order myself. There's also polishing pads that will attach to this sander that if you're doing epoxy tables or epoxy cutting boards and charcuterie boards that you need to polish that epoxy up, this thing's gonna be perfect for that. Listen, I know Festool is not for everybody, and that's okay. If you like DeWALT or Makita or whatever you're using and you're happy with it, stick with it. I just wanted to show you what this Rotex can do and what it offers for your shop. Festool is a system that you're buying into, and there's a reason why most people, when they get one, they start adding others in there. It's because the quality of the tool is there. When you get it in the shop, you're gonna understand what it's about as soon as you get it, especially on a sander, which I would recommend your first Festool purchase be probably the 125 in the previous video combined with the dust extractor. It changed the shop because I don't have fine dust laying everywhere anymore when I sand. The dust extractor really does pull it all in. And not only that, the reason it works so well versus other shop vacs is because it's filtering down to such a fine micron dust, and that's not getting in the air, which is not getting in your lungs or in your family's lungs if they're in the shop with you. And there's a 3-year warranty on all of their stuff. So if you get it and it tears up 2 years later because you just used the mess out of it and just wore it out, they're gonna replace it. And if they don't have that model anymore, you get the new model. So it's a win-win. The longer I'm in woodworking and the more projects that I make and the more things that I do in the shop, the more important I've come to realize that the health and safety of myself and family and friends are important. Used to, I would come out here and work for 7-8 hours with the door shut, with the heater on, and the dust is everywhere. I wouldn't really think much about it. At the end of the day, I'd raise the door up and blow the dust out with the shop vac without any mask on. That was dumb of me. That's not safe. That dust gets down in your lungs and it causes some major health issues if you're exposed to it over long periods of time. The longer I go, the more I realize how silly I was being. I didn't have the money to go buy a Festool, but I did have the money to buy and wear a dust mask just to help myself out. whatever you can do to help yourself be safe, do it. Is the Festool Rotex worth the extreme high price of entry? That's such a subjective question that you'll have to answer for yourself. It will save you time, lots of time when you're sanding. If that's important to you, I would consider looking at this. There's also the Mirka. I think Makita makes a 6-inch sander, so it just depends on what platform you want to go with. The Festool line is a system you're buying into. It connects seamlessly with their dust extraction, and when you add dust extraction to this, it's going to help keep it cool because it's pulling that air through there and keep most of that fine dust out of the air. If you're working inside someone's home, that's going to be extremely important to you. If you're working inside your shop and you don't want that stuff in your lungs, that should be important to you as well. But all in all, it comes with this case, which I always thought was the silliest thing ever, but that just adds to the value in my opinion. When you start adding on accessories like this that come with the sander, the value you get for the level of tool you're buying, I think that Festool line of tools has something going. There's a reason why a lot of professional contractors use Festool. I'm not sponsored by Festool in any way, and I'm quite sure they don't even know who I am. However, this was given to me as a very, very generous gift from a very good friend. Thank you, man. If you're still here, I've got a new channel that I've started that's behind the scenes and non-woodworking related stuff, a little more motivational style videos. Go check it out, youtube.com/MattOutlaw. If you like this video, go check out the dust extractor review I did right there. It also includes that sander. Click at that box, get you the big old virtual fist pump. Also, if you're a Festool fan, I got a track saw review for you. Go check that one out.